Hai, selamat sore. Good afternoon everybody. Welcome to Instagram Live with me Nauval Yazid. I'm the Festival Co-Director. Selamat datang di sesi Instagram. Sorry. Selamat datang di sesi Instagram Live with me Nauval Yazid, the Festival Co-Director. Today or this afternoon, we will talk with Rafael de Bustamante from the EU Delegation Office in the Philippines to talk about organizing Cine Europa, that is the EU or European Film Festival in the Philippines. Jadi sore ini kita akan ngobrol dalam bahasa Inggris tentunya bersama bersama Rafael de Bustamante dari EU Delegation Office in the Philippines di Filipina, ngobrol seputar pelaksanaan Cine Europa atau Festival Film Eropa, Festival Film Uni Eropa di Filipina, namanya Cine Europa. Okay, before we begin, I will update you with the Europe on Screen itself. Saya akan kasih beberapa update soal Europe on Screen, our European Film Festival here in Indonesia. Oke, jadi seperti teman-teman sudah tahu, kita akan mengadakan Europe on Screen tanggal 15 sampai 27 September. I'm back with my this thing with my paper. Mengingatkan kembali bahwa Europe on Screen akan dilaksanakan 15 sampai 27 September. So Europe on Screen will be held on the 15th to 27th of September. And all screenings and basically all film screenings will be held in festivalscope.com and they are free. So this is our second year of doing the festival virtually. Ini adalah tahun kedua kita mengadakan festival Europe on Screen secara virtual. So all screenings, all workshops, and all events will be held online for free. And they're still free of charge, of course. So you don't have to pay to watch any films and join the workshops. And speaking of workshops, we have three filmmaking workshops that will be held just before the festival. Jadi akan ada 3 workshop seputar pembuatan film atau seputar filmmaking yang teman-teman bisa ikuti, dan semuanya akan diselenggarakan sebelum tanggal festival. Sudah ada 3 workshop yang teman-teman bisa ikuti, yaitu workshop tentang acting, kemudian workshop kedua adalah tentang film production atau film development, dan workshop ketiga adalah tentang film editing. Teman-teman bisa mendaftarkan diri untuk mengikuti workshop ini dengan melihat postingan di akun media sosial kami, baik di Instagram, Facebook, atau Twitter. So, we have open registrations for acting workshop, editing workshops, and film production workshops. You can find the information for these 3 in our social media accounts, be it in Instagram here, or in Twitter or Facebook. For acting workshops, we only have limited slots. Untuk acting workshop, ada slot yang sangat terbatas selama 2 hari ini. Dan teman-teman harus menyiapkan monolog. You guys need to prepare a monologue because this is a very hands-on workshop where the mentor Vincent Riota from the UK will guide you through the monologue that you prepare. And the second is a film production or film development. Workshop film production atau film development ini terbuka untuk produser. So if you have done film production, especially if you already produced either short films, feature films, documentary or fiction films, you can apply to this work. You can apply to join this workshop because this workshop will cover about international co-productions or how to package your film project so that it will have a international appeal or cross or co-production appeal with other countries. Kemudian workshop ketiga, our third workshop is about editing. This editing workshop will be split into 2 days. The first day is open for everyone if you are interested in film editing. Jadi workshop editing di hari pertama itu terbuka untuk umum, untuk teman-teman kalau mau tahu tentang editing. Feel free to join the first day of the editing workshop. But the second day of the editing workshop is only applicable for film editors because you need to submit your sample of work. Jadi hari kedua workshop editing ini khusus untuk film editor saja, atau teman-teman yang sudah punya pengalaman dalam mengedit film. bisa mendaftarkan di hari kedua, karena di hari kedua ini mentornya akan melihat contoh karya editing yang pernah teman-teman buat, karena di situ akan dibahas. So yes, we have acting workshop, editing workshop, and film production workshop. This is the first time Europe On Screen has 3 workshops just before the festival, and of course the main festival itself will be held on 15 to 27 September. Check our hashtag, as simple as hashtag EoS21, because this is our 21st edition of Europe On Screen being held on the 21st year of the 21st century as well. How cool is that? Okay, but speaking of Europe On Screen being on the 21st year, there is another European Film Festival that has been running for 23 years, I think so. Why don't we just talk about this and start asking our friend Rafa about Cine Europa in the Philippines, and now I will invite him to join this live session. Hi Rafa.
Hi, how are you? Apa
I'm
kabar?
good. Baik, apa kabar?
Baik.
I can see that you're wearing batik, or
Yes,
looks like batik.
it's my batik just ahead of National Day. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Anyway, yeah, I mean, of course, I know you personally, but not many of our viewers know about you. So why don't you start with introducing yourself, Rafa?
Okay, I'm gonna try. Saya coba in bahasa Indonesia. Nama saya Rafael de Bustamante. Saya kerja di Delegasi Eropa di Filipina. Dulu saya kerja di Jakarta dan saya kerja dengan Nauval Putri di EoS Europe on Screen. So
Correct.
yeah, I don't know if I
That
made it more or less okay, but now you know for the Indonesian audience, I've been here
that is
for
perfect, Rafa. Like perfect pitch of Indonesian. Like,
okay,
yeah,
that's good.
no mistakes.
So yeah, I've been here for 2 years, and I mean I've been involved somehow until now in Cine Europa. So I can tell you a few things about our festival, which is turning 24 this year.
Oh,
So
so
we have
this year is turning 24. Okay, right.
yeah, correct.
Okay, so you've been in the EU delegation office in the Philippines for the past 2 years, right? Since 2019.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and so basically you are in charge of all the cultural activities that the EU office held.
Well, not really. I've been in charge. I mean, we had a strange situation of the first um, almost 18 months. We didn't have an ambassador, so
Mm.
I was not supposed to be in charge of culture, but I ended up, and you know, I
Mm-hmm.
like this issue, so I try to bring some of the Indonesian know-how to the Philippines and vice versa.
Okay,
But I mean, it's a very different festival, but it's also a very successful one.
I see. And I mean, can you just perhaps share some of the cultural or cultural related activities that the office usually has every year?
Well, we have a lot of things. I mean, I mean, everything, I mean, most of our cultural activities are around the month of May because it was Europe month and we call it Viva Europa.
Okay.
So it has a musical component and, you know, we can talk about online. I mean, we had to move online in
Mm-hmm.
2020 and 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We had a very successful and innovative theater festival, which has been online, and I think online has produced a much better result than on a real play display.
Oh, really?
And
I thought like
yeah,
theater is like a very physical
no, 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 no,
event.
no, no. It's quite amazing. What I mean, it's in between, like because it's like a Zoom call on something, so it's more of a video pro. I mean, theater, but I mean, I watched the opening one that we had. It was a French one, and I mean, obviously, it was adapted to the Filipino context, and it was really fun. It was half cartoon, half play, half, I think that I mean, we can talk about that later, but the pandemic and the online world have brought many challenges, but also some interesting developments to something we didn't do before. Um, we had, I mean, like a kind of also cultural activities with children.
Mm-hmm.
What else? My colleagues are super productive on this issue. Now we have more like ambassador talks with youth. But I mean, the theater, the music, also we had like a choral competition from different universities, singing from different member states and Filipino songs. So that hasn't been we didn't have an edition last year, but we are taking up again. So it's plenty of activities. Member states are very active here. I mean, it's somehow, I mean, while in Jakarta we have many more present, here they have many more, I mean, smaller delegations. I think
Mm-hmm.
14 member states present, but
Oh,
they are
40. Okay.
14, 1-4, and they are very active, even if they are small embassies. An advantage also is the
Mm-hmm.
language. English is the
Yeah.
language of the country, so you can reach.
Yes.
I mean, it's much easier than working on Bahasa Indonesia and trying to reach the people who don't speak the language. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of us, I mean, I know you're only there for 2 years so far, but I wonder if you happen to know the inception of Cine Europa. I mean, Cine Europa. I mean, I have to pronounce it correctly, like Cine Europa, not to confuse it with the other website that is also the EU project, Cine Europa.
Yeah, correct. I mean, the festival started in 1998, so that was to mark
Okay.
100 of years of independence. It was
Oh, I
thought
see. Okay.
it was as I mean planned as a gift from Europe to the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was the start of the festival. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, it has evolved. We use, and the year I arrived in the early months, uh, it takes place in different locations in the three main islands, Luzon, I mean the Visayas archipelago, and Mindanao.
Mm-hmm.
We partner with with private companies, malls, and
Mm-hmm.
have a little reception, bring an ambassador to open, try to feature have some cultural activities around the film. So that was more or less the pattern that Cine Europa had.
I see.
With in the last years we have been, I mean, the last couple of years, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we, for instance, have been try to do more to bring European cinema to the
Mm-hmm.
screens out of the festival. So we also
Okay.
uh, uh, partner with the Cultural Center of the Philippines to have a monthly viewing of a film festival from the famous repository
Mm-hmm.
called Europelícula. We
Mm.
also try to cooperate on human rights festivals. So I mean, we're trying to push more and more European film.
Are these films that are being screened outside the festival? Are these basically the films that have been screened in the festival, Cine Europa, or is it completely different film?
Not necessarily. They are part of this repository. So basically,
Oh, I see. Okay.
it's our take as we have them available, and we wanted to feature. I mean, obviously the pandemic came and it has been a little bit ups and downs, but I think having a monthly feature in in the cultural center of the Philippines, which is one of the biggest cultural institutions, was
Mm-hmm.
a very good opening to expose people to films.
I see. And since 1998, the festival has been going on every year without
Yeah,
interruptions. Okay,
correct.
well, that's
Yeah.
great. So it means that there is like a continuous support and commitment not just from the embassies, but also from the participating countries. Is it the same as the Europe on screen here in terms of the support from the participating countries, or do they provide films, or they just provide I don't know, maybe venues or other kind of support?
I mean, it's it's different here. Is they provide the films
I
that
see.
they
Okay.
select as well.
Okay.
It has become more expensive with the online world because the copyrights and
Yes.
the problem. So I mean, it has brought like in a way more audience. People far away can see the films, but we may have less tickets. And before it was
Mm.
an easier, uh, you know, uh, two, three, four, five projections, and then you return the Blu-ray or the DPC back. So I
Mm.
mean, there's less contribution, and I mean, we have also obtained some extra support from another EU program. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a different scale and a different construction from the one in Indonesia. So
Mm.
it's I think we are learning from our own mistakes. I think last year was challenging. I mean, we basically moved in March of all our cultural programming was
Mm-hmm.
offline, and suddenly we have to move everything online
Yeah.
for the month of May, which was challenging. But the film festival, we wanted to have it also as part of the Europe month, but then that was supposed to happen in 2020, and then the pandemic hit. So,
Mm.
I mean, one of the challenges here is that member states are very active.
Mm.
We don't want to, coincide with the Spanish Film Festival, with the French Film Festival, with Hungarian
Mm-hmm.
Film Festival.
I see.
So it's a lot of competition, good one, but
Mm.
we have also to find a period of time where we can screen the film festival and don't compete with one of our member states.
So in a way, I mean, I don't know. Has there been any year in the past that the Cine Europa were was held about the same time as these individual countries' film festivals?
Not that I mean, we have always tried to avoid this, and
Mm.
when we talk about moving the festival to May, uh, there was some concern, but at the same time, it makes sense that around the month of May we schedule a number of activities that bring Europe to the Philippines. But we will see after I don't know, we will be able to be back to the cinemas, but definitely this is an learning experience.
Yeah.
I mean, for you as well as for us. But last year I mean, we were quite excited because we thought, and indeed we reach out people farther away and people who
Mm-hmm.
cannot go to the movie theaters in these
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
11 places we go before. But then we had, the combination of you know, the number of tickets we had,
Yeah.
weak internet, it was typhoon season. Also, I mean, we try to schedule the films as you go to the cinema, you buy a ticket, and then you go for the 8
Yeah.
p.m. or the 6 p.m.
Yeah.
But then we realized that many people got tickets and then they didn't show up. So I think we are going to, I mean, this is something that, we sold the tickets because we have a copyright. I mean, we sold the tickets. People have access to tickets. So we are trying to see how we can improve that. And then, of course, there's the competition of the big Netflix and HBO, and
Yes. Yes.
and the Philippines is an enormous production of cinema. I mean,
Yeah.
during the lockdown last year, I mean, you know this probably better than me, but I was amazed by the amount of things that were produced like during the pandemic, and and you find them on YouTube, on
Mm.
television channels. So, I mean, it's hard, it's difficult to get the attention of the public, even if we think what we are bringing is the best. But the Philippines is really a country of produce. I mean, that produce a lot of. And also with very low means during the pandemic, I was as I said, surprised to see all these small like series, and then there's Cine Malaya, one of the most important
Yeah.
independent, and there were these documentaries, and they were fantastic, and sometimes difficult to understand for a foreigner, but for me very interesting to understand the country through those. So I think that's also the value of the cinema.
Yes, and Filipinos are also very active in social media. They create contents throughout all different social media platforms. And what we also discovered last year is actually these social media platforms, especially the video-based social media platforms, they they are actually also our direct competitor with our online film festival. So how did you bring about the promotions and the communications for the festivals? Because we need to compete also with other online activities. So yeah, I mean, was there like increase in the social media ads, or how is the overall strategy?
I mean, the overall strategy is not very different from what you do. We try to promote, we make a trailer. I mean, member states amplify the voice. But still, I think, I mean, I think last year, yeah, I did that kind of, but we try also to use new platforms to promote the message. I don't think we do anything differently than you do, but probably the competition is very high. So yeah, we try to also push in. I mean, Facebook is the king here as much as Instagram is the king in the Raja of Indonesia. Here is Facebook. So I mean,
I
Facebook
see.
is where we have to push things, and many like providers give you like a telephone card and free Facebook. So basically,
Oh, okay.
the internet is Facebook for the good things and also for the
I
bad things,
see.
because I mean you have just that limited window into the world. But for entertainment, Facebook is very important. So I mean, this is an area where we push our production.
I, I mean, Facebook, does this mean that the platform is popular across
Yeah,
demographics,
correct. Yeah. No.
not only for the young or the old? I
No, not
see.
only for my generation, which seems to be the case in Europe, but here, I mean, this is the platform where people communicate, where people post. So this is the most important platform than any other. So it's also kind of different to. I mean, I remember arriving in Indonesia and discovering Instagram, and how things are done there, and for instance, Instagram is not that big here, so
Okay.
but it's interesting. I mean, there's also a link to this kind of. I mean, now Instagram and Facebook are the same,
Yeah.
belong to the same company, but
Company.
yeah, in a way, the fact that the telephone providers do this helps Facebook to be the main the main platform.
And how many films that you screened last year for the online
Uh,
festival?
I think you got me there. I think there were not too many, but I'm sure I will get a WhatsApp in a minute to tell me.
No
But
problem. No problem.
for this year, we have 16
Okay.
films. We have one film per member state, basically. That's the rule and several screening. Um, we invite um, Switzerland and Norway to participate.
Okay.
Um, so I mean, it's a limited, production thing. I mean, some of the movies are co-production, so that sometimes it's a three-country movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
this 16, sorry,
yeah, no,
this
just
16,
one thing. No,
oh yeah.
let me just
Go ahead,
clarify
go
one
ahead.
thing.
Yeah.
No, on the when I was mentioning Facebook before, it was more for promotion, not for screening, because we screen
Okay.
through the platform. I mean, we wish we could have like rights to put it on Facebook and make it available. Would be a torbe.
Oh, That's
but
very hard.
that's not possible, obviously. But we
Yeah.
try to promote through Facebook.
And these 16 films come from the 14 member states plus Swiss and Norway.
Yeah.
Okay. That also includes the ones from the repository of the EU
Yeah,
repository.
some
Okay.
people pick one from the repository, or some others just bring a film. I mean,
Okay.
it's a different curation than the one you have. So, but I mean, the festival is also structured somehow differently. And I mean, we cooperate with, the private. I mean, basically the movie theaters when it was on offline.
Mm-hmm.
But also, but again, it's a tougher job than you have, because I think it's a much more crowded market, the Philippines,
Yeah.
for cinema. So
But in the past, how was the partnership with the cinemas? I mean, are they willing to? Were they willing to, give
yeah, uh,
slots or
yeah,
sacrificing
yeah,
their slots?
yeah. I know. I remember the discussions in Indonesia, where it's not easy to
No, still not easy.
to have a. Here there is, because it's. They're happy to host us. Basically, they are combined with malls. So
Mm,
it's this. So I mean, basically, we have a very good cooperation. They're happy to let us use the rooms, and sometimes we have two big rooms. It's like I was in an opening of a Spanish uh, um, film in Cebu, and we had like 800.
mm-hmm.
I mean, 800 people
Oh, okay.
uh, room, but even if you have 200, it's very, very, it doesn't look like much. But our sponsor partners pay for this, so this is a very good
Mm,
cooperation, and that's where
mm,
people go. So I mean, one of the things, I mean, the first year and the early year, I think that it's like people go to the mall and hang out, and then if you tell
yes.
them, listen, guys, free movie, come. Um, so yeah, I mean, we try to encourage people in the provinces to go and see these free screenings, as you were saying, as Europe on the screen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Last year we had 20 films. I've been told by my little helper.
Okay, so there's an increase then, at least like four
Last year
more
we had
films.
20. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, last
We
year
have
20.
more.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. We had 20 last year. This year we have less. Um,
Okay, I see. And in the past, when the festival was held in a physical manner or being held offline, did you do any traveling programs to other cities? So not only in Manila, but maybe in other cities as well?
yeah, we had 11 location.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I mean, we were present in sorry in the three main regions, Luzon, where
Mm-hmm.
Manila is,
Mm-hmm.
Visayas, the middle, and Mindanao. When there was no martial law, there was martial law for 2 years, almost three. So we try to visit different islands, and sometimes we associate a program. I mean, in Palawan, one year we did kind of a biking tour, and promoting sustainable transport. Now it has become very sustainable because there was no transport during the pandemic, so people ride their bikes a lot in Manila, and it's quite amazing. But yeah, we had a very good geographical spread.
Mm.
We thought, I mean, and indeed the online platform allows you to get to
Yeah.
places, but
Mm-hmm.
we saw that yeah, due to all these circumstances, is not sometimes the audience you will gather in a cinema. But at the time, we conducted 1 week in each province, so it was like the EU festival was full.
Mm-hmm.
We opened with a different film in
Mm-hmm.
every place, and we also tried to have an ambassador
Okay.
to open, so give it a little bit more of blitz or glitz.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also nice, and I mean the EU delegation was there. either the ambassador or the number two.
Hmm.
So it was always this tandem of people presenting the film.
So these 11 locations, all the screenings were held at the same time within this 1 week, or do you do it
No,
gradually? Okay.
gradually, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because the film travel, and that got us in a big, sometimes, transportation. So
Mm.
uh, I was in Naga, which is on the east of Manila,
Hmm.
with the Swedish ambassador, and it's a place that doesn't have much connection. So we were there. We did some like meetings, and then we get to the opening, and my colleague tells me that the film hasn't arrived, but we have the Dutch film. So you can imagine what embarrassment for the Swedish ambassador not to be able to present his film. But I mean, he's a very good European, a very good game. So
Uh,
he did his opening remarks and promote European culture, European cinema. But yeah, that happens, and so that's why the films move around the country, and sometimes there are transport issues.
yes, I mean that kind of thing happens, unfortunately, and sometimes still happens. But do you have like certain findings? Because in every traveling programs, what interests me is that the kind of audience are usually different, and sometimes in one city a film works and in another city a film doesn't. So what did you find among these audiences in different locations?
I mean, I think in general, what works is animation and family films.
I see. Okay.
It's kind of a youth student crowd that we have that come to the films. I mean,
Mm,
it's not like cinema d'auteur. It's also member states pick their films. So again, there
mm,
is a less selection of variety. Some
mm,
films, and not for all audiences. But I mean, of course, like we know also in Jakarta when we did open air screening, and you have animations.
yeah.
They work well, and people like them, and it's what. But I mean, the objective is to expose people to a more wide variety of
Mm,
things, and
mm,
that comes with some work as well. So I mean, it's not like only we have to promote the films, but it's also make them attractive. Um,
mm.
yeah, last year we did. I mean, as part of the festival with one of these partners that they have the cinemas, we did an
Mm-hmm.
open air screening, which
Oh,
was a
okay.
lot in the car. No, it was a drive-in. Sorry,
Drive-in.
it was
Okay.
a drive-in, which was fun in a way, but again, it was a nice photo moment, but not the kind of reach that you will have
Mm,
in other circumstances. So, as much as the photo and mentioning it is a nice, but it was basically a very small, limited. But I mean, this year again, we were planning. Now we are in lockdown again. We were planning to have some opener films outdoors, but it all depends on this pandemic. So, I mean, it's nice to get this sense of community and people gathering around a screen, but I don't know when will that be possible.
I see. So the drive-in was held one. Is it like a one night only event or
Well, it
basically?
was it was one night only event. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, because
And
the mall
uh,
has this possibility, and
okay.
it
And,
was yeah.
and how many should I say people or how many cars attended that event?
It was not very big, so honestly, I don't think it's relevant. Uh, but it was a nice. It was the first time we had it.
Hmm.
Maybe something to explore in the future when people can take their cars. I don't
Yeah.
think that the parking lot was that big either. Maybe
Oh, I see. Okay.
for 60 cars, I would say, but we were no more than 20 cars. So
Hmm.
yeah, but
Well, I mean, sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, I mean it's well, I would say it's very cool to have a drive-in screening session, because it's very rare to do
Mm.
it nowadays. I mean, not many spaces as well to still have it with, and in addition to the technicalities, especially
Yeah.
getting the sound right
Mm.
from the screen to the car.
Mm.
But I'm sure that you overcame these challenges.
No, but we also, I didn't remember, we have 50 cars and we stream online simultaneously. So it was
Okay.
a double screening, which was fun. I mean, which makes, it was German comedy. So
Mm-hmm.
we screen it live, I mean, let's say live
Mm-hmm.
on a drive-in, and then at the same time we did it online. So that
Mm-hmm.
was one try experimental thing we did during the last year festival.
Well, it's worth trying.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, they have the technicalities. These guys have the means, so everything was set up. So basically, you just get to the place and just connect your radio and
Mm-hmm.
listen to the film.
Okay. And does Cine Europa also have, I mean, I don't know, other activities, other events besides the festival dates? Perhaps ways to engage with audiences,
Yeah,
maybe not throughout the year, but at least before the festival and maybe a few days or weeks after the festivals.
yeah. There is all this kind of engagement before and during the festival.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we also organize, but not at the scale you do, as you were mentioning before. We started talking, I mean, dialogues between film people from Europe and from the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's we engage people, with teasers and this is coming. Of course, I mean, one of the things is like, I mean, Metro Manila is like the big hub, and people are more exposed to European films. But I mean, we have discovered that people in the province appreciate also the films because they are less exposed. I mean, for them it's more of a rarity and
Mm-hmm.
something that they. So that's also can very satisfactory to see when you bring something to the Visayas, to Cebu, to Puerto Princesa, and see that people enjoy the showing, the viewing.
Mm-hmm. And when you talk about reaching out to provinces, I mean, reaching out to places that we we may not be able to reach during the physical or offline festivals. So that does this mean that during the online festivals, audiences come from across the country as well, and majority of these 20 films were sold out or full?
Yeah, there was sold out, but we encounter as first timers, um,
Yeah.
the problem that people bought the tickets because we have a certain number of tickets, and then they didn't show up for the projection, for the screening. Some people watch several. I mean, normally you have these cinephile people everywhere who likes European films, so they basically get the tickets. So we also have the kind of schedule like cinema-like. So like
Yeah.
today at 8 p.m. I will sit with my popcorn and then
Mm.
I will watch the movie. So that maybe was not that good because then I mean some films were in a more commercial time and some others were
Yeah.
not, and
Mm.
it removes also it brings this cinematic experience, but at the same time it detracts from the flexibility that now we have. So now
Yeah.
we can just stop our Netflix film now
Yeah.
and then take 10 minutes later and continue.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a bit of the challenge, and I think it's all. I mean, for all also the cultural institutes here that have to move activities online. We have discussed that,
Yeah.
and it's not a challenge only for us, but for
Of
many
course.
people. Yeah, and
Yes.
sorry, no, this year we will do the 24/7 on demand for a week. So
Okay.
just kind of people can watch to overcome the issue we had last year. So we will provide a Netflix experience, so people can can watch whatever they want within the limits we have, because this is, as you know, the copyright issue is key here.
And I mean, I remember last year one of the initial challenges that we encountered is finding ways to communicate to our audiences that first we shifted to an online festival, and to explain to them that while these films are being screened online, but then there is a limit time of availability, because like each film will only be available for a certain period of time, like 5 day, based on festival scope terms and conditions, like 5 day availability. And then once they press play, they can only watch repeatedly for 30 hours. So, this kind of things we kept, at least within the first few days after the announcement of the lineup. This kind of communications is the one that we keep push to our audience, like how to watch at Festival Co-Director, how to register. Did you also find this kind of a difficulty in communicating the new ways of watching to your audience there?
Yes, yeah, it's difficult because also last year we encountered people have to register in the
Yes.
system, yeah, and it's not like as easy as you open your browser and then you just click Cine Europa and go. So that was a hurdle that we faced, and within the means, and we are going to do our best. But indeed, you have to. But I think by now people know how to do this, because they are what they are doing right now. But I mean, we are trying to make it easier for them with this. Less kind of schedule, and also giving the option of the on-demand availability for movies, for films.
Okay. And Rafa, we have some questions that our followers have asked in the question box. So the first question is, how much time does it take to organize Cine Europa every year? In terms of preparations and...
I don't know. I hope I will get a WhatsApp in a minute, of my colleague who is the wizard of Cine Europa. It takes time because it's a lot of back and forth in member states, and it's time consuming. I don't know if I can measure that on time, but it takes time. We have one colleague, Robert Leon, who we should give him tribute for his work on this. He's telling me 6 months, but he does other stuff. He's not only 6 months, but from the moment we start to the moment we deliver, it's a 6 month period. But I mean, he's not doing this full time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Robert, wherever you are now. All right. And the second question is, are the films shown with Filipino or Tagalog subtitles?
No, I don't think so. Only with English subtitles.
Okay.
Because most of them are not in English. So.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't have any additional subtitles?
No.
Okay. That's great. And the next question, does the festival also screen local Filipino films, maybe the ones co-produced with European countries?
I'll wait for the answer. I think we did at some point, but this is one of the areas that we have not. I mean, as we had in Indonesia and Europe on a scheme. I don't know, it was called Made in Europe, or I don't remember what was the name of the section that we had, but it was
we had a section called On Location.
On Location,
screening films.
Yeah.
local films being shot in European countries.
Yeah. Before we did, but not anymore. But I mean, I like that kind of link of, you know,
Yeah,
even on television, I see sometimes films that are, you know, are shot in Europe
yeah,
with romantic backgrounds, and you know,
yes.
they like the Chinta love
The,
here as well.
yeah, I mean, yes, I actually saw some Filipino films being shot with panoramic views of, landscapic views of European sceneries. I mean, most of Filipinos' film I saw on Netflix at least.
Yeah. Yeah, me
Okay,
too. Yeah.
and next question is, why is it called Cine Europa, not EU Film Festival?
Why is it called Europe on a screen? I guess at some point they find a name for
I couldn't
the.
answer that, to be honest. I mean, I don't know the
No,
history of the name Europe on screen.
no. I mean, it's catchy. I like that every festival has its own. If everything is called UFF, European Film Festival, it's a bit boring. So I like the regional variants, and sometimes because of the words. I mean, película is Tagalog, but it's
Mhm,
originally from Spanish, so that's why
mhm,
we call this other like a spin-off Euro película.
mm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what is the original of the name. I hope to for a type a reply on my screen in a minute so I can tell you.
Okay.
But
I
it's I
mean,
think it's short and catchy, and you know it has a
it
history.
is.
So
Yeah,
that's the point. You don't have to change what works.
that's true. And I like the name actually, Cine Europa. It immediately
Hmm,
connects the
hmm.
cinematic experience and where this come from. Although in terms, well, we actually have a group of EU Film Festival organizers that the Valerio from Brussels organized us. At the end of the conversation, we still have to explain, oh yeah, we are from EU Film Festival in this country, regardless the name, because for these people, they will not be able to remember the names of each and every EU film festival in the world.
Hmm.
Okay, and next question we have is, does your audience suggest what European films they want to watch? So is the festival open for suggestions from
It
public?
is, it is, but unfortunately we cannot satisfy those because
Of course, yeah.
it's the member states who. I mean, what we have been able to do is to accommodate requests for reruns.
Mm.
Sometimes we had a very successful film and then we just screen it again. Last
Mm-hmm.
year I think with a couple of films, I think the Dutch, they were able to secure more, viewing rights
Mm-hmm.
because it was sold out quite early on. So, but I mean, we can just the favorites of the audience, we can try to show them again if we can.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, on that respect, is it's not impossible.
When the festival was held in physical format or offline format, were member states also inviting or bringing guests or filmmakers during the festival?
In my time, no.
Okay.
I mean, it's a bit less. It's a bit less. That aspect is less developed here. I mean, I think on the one hand, because the industry is quite developed, and you know they have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of our partners is the Film Development Council of the Philippines. I mean, it's a state institution, it's a government institution. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we partner with them. I mean, of course, we have this educational component where we have dialogue
Mm-hmm.
with film directors and audience through lectures. But I mean, all that kind of engagement, like you were mentioning, like those workshops and
Yeah.
that requires money. Honestly, I mean, it's not like
Yeah. Yeah.
they're not good ideas. I don't know. You continue to do that documentary. You know that we select. You select a film from. I mean, a short film for the
Oh,
next
we still
year.
do. We still
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
We still
And I
do
think
that.
that
Yeah.
that was a very good idea. I was
Mm-hmm.
very proud of your initiative, and I remember the
Thank
first,
you.
the finalist. What's it called? The one
Lasagna.
lasagna, yeah,
Yeah.
which which was very very sad, but very good. Yeah, but I mean these activities sometimes in the past we had them, but not as a regular feature of the festival. So,
I see.
sometimes members still have provided with filmmakers, directors, actors, or whatever. France
Sorry,
is
sorry.
more active on this
Hmm. Mm.
cinema ground. So I mean, with them, they have we can like be take advantage of if they bring someone
Yeah,
to
of
bring it
course.
for our festival.
And do member states have their auditoriums that you can use as screening venues last time?
We don't because I think the French, the Alliance Française have a small auditorium.
Hmm.
But as our partners are so great and they have like a proper cinema, so
Yes.
there's no point, there's no need. I mean, it's a bit the opposite scenario of Indonesia, where we have to use the
Yeah.
a small independent cinema houses and
Yeah.
basically the cultural institutes.
Hmm.
While here, basically we do it on commercial screens.
Well, I mean, that's great. I
Yeah.
mean, commercial cinemas also give a better film watching experience with better screens and better audios. And I mean, they don't charge you extra for that, right? I mean, they just
No,
charge.
it's part of the partnership. So
Oh, I see.
they are happy to be associated to this, and I guess it brings something to them and it brings something to us. So I think it's a win-win situation.
Solution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And when is the next Cine Europa, or has it's been going on, or
Uh,
has it passed?
no, it's starting, and I should know the dates by heart, and I'm sure I will tell you in a minute. I think we are in September, October, if I'm not mistaken, but I
I
should
see.
know this. Yeah.
Because
We
I
are about.
understand that, yeah, most European film festivals this year will go either October or November.
Yeah, I mean, we were hoping we also kind of push it a little bit towards the end of the year. I mean, first
Okay.
of all, to avoid conflicts, also with the hope that we would be able to, to have a hybrid.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but no, we did not. So,
Hmm.
but you can follow our social media
Sure.
and check.
So at least there is already a talk of possibly going hybrid
Yeah,
for
but
the
I mean, we
festival.
had the talk. Yeah, we'll have the festival from the 1st to the 29th of September. So it's September,
Okay.
the film festival. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think in a future, probably the hybrid will be a good thing, especially in
True.
countries like ours, because it's
Yes.
archipelago with so many islands that even
Yeah.
if you bring it to the farthest place of Papua, you will not
True.
be. I mean, the cost will be. So I think you have. I mean, this online experience has shown us, in a way, the cost efficiency of the cultural action sometimes is I mean it's not necessarily less expensive the film, but I think it's we have to be able to kind of get the best of both worlds. But again, for countries like ours, I think the future is hybrid,
Of course.
because I
Yeah.
mean you can go to the main places as you go to Surabaya or to Jakarta, or here we go to Cebu,
Yeah.
to Puerto Princesa or Davao, but then there will still be people who are interested and who can watch from their home. So I think we have to see how we can combine both in the future. And
Yeah.
I mean, having that repository of films is also a great advantage. To be able to give, on the one hand, a sense of festival,
Hmm.
also partnering as we were with other cultural institutes, that maybe you can have like once a month European film. So, people get it on their minds. They are European films and they are good, they're interesting. So that's a bit of I see the future. But I mean, now I don't see the future very bright with all this, I mean, I don't know how many months we are in August, March. So yeah, a long time. So
Long time. It
se-
seems like
se-
a
17
one and a
months
half
of,
years. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
So
we
yeah,
miss we miss doing it offline, of course, but like you said, online also opens up other possibilities that we couldn't have when we are doing the festival in offline or physical format. So yeah, I mean, what surprised me last year when receiving the report from Festival Scope, the screening platform, is that we see audiences coming from cities that we never visited before, like eastern part of Indonesia that you mentioned. I think visitors from eastern part of Indonesia make up 30% of our audiences,
well,
despite despite us never having go there in the previous years. So yeah, I mean, we were surprised that actually audiences across the nations managed to be able to watch the festival. So I think this is the same case like yours with Cine Europe.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we will have to see. We have the breakdown. I don't have it in front of me, but we know where people watch, and that gives you a good sense. And I think maybe last year we had less viewers than our average of viewers when we went to different provinces. I was there for 1 month, 1 week. But still, I mean, the sense of reaching out is important, and I think for me this is a quite important thing. I mean, we don't do this again, as you know, for Europeans. Of course, we don't do this for Europeans. We don't do this for the people in the capital city that they have more access. But we try to bring these things to spread the word beyond the capital cities.
Of course. Well, I think we have come to the end of our session, Rafa. So thank you very
I
much.
have to put my cap of Cine Europa because
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, that was
It's
the
the
20th edition, but
20th
today
year.
at the
Okay.
office, I was because we go to the office every other day, so I was trying to
Okay.
to to go through my colleague's office, and he said pick one of the caps, and I picked this cap, which I like. So I said
Nice.
I will be Filipino for one moment with my
So,
with my batik.
so the festival also produce or make merchandises like that every
Yeah, yeah,
year.
yeah. We
Okay.
do, and I mean that's part of the what we used to attract people, like
Yeah.
raffles, I mean that, like you do, and
Yeah.
so we have been doing this last year. Very like all these computer maths, like that was some new addition because now people have to work from home.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of yeah, but we produce, and I thought when I got home, I said I should have like the Tumblr with you, Cine
Oh,
Europa,
nice.
but it's also like this screen doesn't give me much. I have my flag my flag here, but it doesn't fit in the screen. So yeah, I put this and. But it's a pleasure being with you again
Yeah,
virtually.
it's nice. Yeah, nice to see you again. I mean, after 2 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
after 2 years.
maybe before we end, just tell you an anecdote, and it's quite an embarrassing one from my Filipino colleagues, and you will be laughing. So, I mean, I arrived here in September 2019, and I was living in a hotel, and we had the film festival, and my colleagues in the press and information section are very active, and the media is quite interested here. So, I mean, I get to go to television and radio to speak about the film festival, and CNN Philippines, very impressive. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, one morning, they pick me up at 4:30, and the traffic is bad as in Jakarta, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I arrived to the studio, and they have these like morning anchors, ladies
Yeah.
anchors who know their pitch super well, and they say, "Pa, pa, pa," and then they move to you for 3 minutes and back. But basically, I was supposed to pitch the Europe on the Screen 22 edition, and then I started speaking. I said, today we are opening in Jakarta. We have this film, blah, blah, blah. And then, like 2 minutes later, I said, Rafa, you're not in Jakarta anymore. You are in Manila. So I have to backtrack, but I was so embarrassed. But that's, you were still fresh on my memory. But I think it was a combination of new arrival, early morning, and trying to keep everything together.
Can we see the clip online?
I think I have the clip online, but I must find it and send it to you. But
No problem.
it was one
Well,
of these blurbs that happened on the life. Well,
on the life of a
yeah,
diplomat just arriving in
yeah,
a new city, in a
yeah,
new country.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Rava. I mean, we couldn't have ended on a funnier note than that. So yeah, thank you for sharing the bit. I'll see you soon. I hope
Yeah.
when the traveling becomes much easier. So yeah,
Okay.
thank you. So our audiences, we will return on Thursday with my colleague Putri, and I think she will talk with a programmer from Locarno Film Festival. So everyone tuning in, stay healthy, stay safe, and bye.
Bye. Terima kasih. Sampai jumpa lagi.
Terima kasih, Rafa. Bye.
Bye.